Electricity. Ball and rod. The ball previous. Positively charged touches rod neg charged and falls back down to table. Y. Ball discharges neutral. Pulled down by gravity, its weight. State what is meant by an electric field. Region in which an electric charge experiences a force. State what is meant by the direction of an electric field. Direction of force on a positive charge. The polystyrene ball is suspended between two charged metal plates by an insulated thread. Explain why the ball oscillates. Ball moves towards positive plate. Ball touches positive plate. Made of conducting material, so becomes positively charged. Repelled from positive plate. Touches negative plate and loses charge. Negatively charged ball attracted back to positive plate and process repeats. Electrical components. Describe a practical use for a thermistor. Keep computers cool. In incubators. Fire alarm. Electronic thermometer. Define electromotive force EMF. Energy supplied by a source in driving charge around a complete circuit, energy needed to drive unit charge. Soft magnet. How to operate a motor in circuit B using a soft magnet after the switch is closed. Iron core coil, solenoid becomes a magnet. Iron core coil, solenoid attracts iron armature. Armature pivots, moves and contacts touch, there is a current in circuit B. Ways to demagnetize a magnet. Heat magnet C1. To high temperature, red hot A1. 2. Hammer the magnet B1. Repeatedly, in EW direction B1. 3. Place magnet in a coil, solenoid carrying A, C. M1. Remove magnet from coil or decrease current slowly to 0. Safety. Explain the benefit of earthing the metal case. This can prevent electrocution. If the life wire touches the metal case. How a fuse protects a circuit. The fuse melts. If the current is too high. Choose the correct fuse rating for this appliance and explain your answer. 13A for a 10A current. Fuse rating above but near to normal operating current. If too low, it would break, blow, melt when the appliances are operating normally. If fuse too high, wouldn't break, blow until current was too high, which would be dangerous to people, wires, appliance. If require calculations, show why fuses of a higher rating are made of thicker wire. Resistance inversely proportional to area, so resistance of thicker wire is lower B1. Fuse will melt at higher current B1. Because heating effect equals I2ROR less heating effect for same current, OT. Explain why it is necessary to use thick wires to carry a large supply of current to drive the electric vehicle. Thick wires have a smaller resistance. Less thermal energy generated in wires. More efficient or less risk of fire, insulation melting. DC motor. Explain why the DC motor cannot operate without a split ring commutator. Because the coil cannot rotate in the same direction. By considering the forces on the coil, explain how the split ring commutator enables the motor to turn continuously. Current in the coil reverses or changes direction. Forces on wires in new positions, still up on L or down on R. Purpose of a split ring commutator. Keeps the coil rotating in the same direction O, W, T, T, E. B1. By changing direction of current in the coil B1. Every half cycle, 180 degrees. AC generator. Why does the structure of copper make it a suitable material for the wire? Copper contains free electrons. Good electrical conductor. Why is iron a suitable material for the core of an electromagnet? Magnetic material or easily magnetized. Temporary magnetic material or easily demagnetized. Why does the current flow that way? Current points clockwise. Field direction, motion of wire and induced current are all mutually perpendicular. Explain how rotating the coil in Fig 6.2 continuously causes the galvanometer needle to show an alternating current. As coil rotates, it cuts magnetic field between the magnets. This induces an EMF in the coil. This produces a current in the coil transferred to the galvanometer via the slip rings and carbon brushes. Direction of current flow changes with each 180-degree rotation of coil. Purpose of slip rings. Provide continuous connection while coil rotating. Describe and explain what happens to the needle of the sensitive galvanometer when the magnet passes through the coil of wire. Needle oscillates as magnet moves up and down. Coil cuts magnetic field changes as magnet moves. Changing magnetic field induces voltage current. Induced voltage current opposes the motion change causing it. Force, magnetic field and induced current are mutually perpendicular. State and explain the effect of the EMF induced on the temperature of the water in the pan. Temperature increased. Current in base of pan O, W, T, T, E. Thermal energy produced in base of pan. Increase EMF produced. Increase strength of magnetic field. Increase speed of rotation of the coil. Increase numbers of turns of coil. State the position of the rotating coil when the alternating output voltage is at a maximum value and explain why the maximum output occurs at this position. Plane of coil, horizontal OR in position shown in diagram. Coil cutting magnetic field the fastest. Why a greater force is needed to keep the lamp lit. Transformer. Explain the operation of a basic transformer. Primary voltage causes an alternating current in primary coil. Produces a changing magnetic field. Changing field induces PD EMF in secondary coil. Explain why power losses in transmission cables are lower when electrical energy is transmitted at higher voltages. Smaller current, less thermal energy lost. Explain why electrical power is transmitted at a voltage of 400,000 volts and not 2200 V. Heat loss depends on current. Less power, energy loss, in transmission. If current is low, thermal energy generated power loss is low. Thinner wires can be used if current is low. Smiley face. Thinner, lighter, cheaper transmission cables. Cables with less resistance. Cheaper pylons can be used. Cheaper. Explain the function of the piece of iron in the transformer. Links magnetic fields of coils primary and secondary. Stronger magnetic field in secondary. Better induction out. Lenz's law. Force on magnet. Current will always flow to oppose the change causing it.